It's the Michael Patrick Leahy Show, broadcasting live from downtown Nashville. And now, here's Michael Patrick Leahy.
Welcome back to the Jesse Bonus Hour with Michael Patrick Leahy Show. You can listen to us on 760 AM WENO right here in Nashville, 730 AM KQPN in Memphis, and of course you can go to newstalk760.com, download the app, or listen to the John Fredericks radio app all around the country. You can watch us on YouTube. Just type in the Michael Patrick Leahy Show, and you can contact us or me on X, formerly Twitter, Michael P. Leahy. We welcome to our microphones in studio right now the original All-Star panelist, Crom.
Michael, how are you today?
Well, today, Crom.
Today,
I am thinking 6 more days. Oh, please, Lord.
Yes.
Hastened those 6 days.
Yes.
Because it's just endless word salad junk and nastiness.
This is the nastiness. And,
from Harris and that crowd.
Yeah. And I was listening to what you said with the clip on Bannon.
Yeah.
And I think he's exactly right. The part of the strategy here is to do one of two things. Either set this up so that they can use some kind of process to overcome the Electoral College, because I do believe Trump will win the Electoral College, but as we say over and over and over again, we have to run through the tape. And so, but I think Trump will win. Now, having said that, I think it'll be a very tense period between the election and the inauguration, or between the election and when Congress takes its seat.
Crom, that's what I would call that a massive understatement.
Yeah. Well, okay, but what I'm saying is that I think back to previous times in history, and so this is going to be a test of our constitutional republic. But I
think we're going to win that test.
I do.
But I think it's going to be unpleasant.
I think it's going to be unpleasant, and I do think we'll win.
But so many people out there, Crom, on their side, I think are like really kind of mentally ill.
Well, they are the party of government and the expansion of government, and they see Trump accurately as a threat to their power. And to the size and power of government itself. In other words, Trump wins, and there's going to be a great reduction in the size of the regulatory powers of government.
And a lot of bureaucrats are going to get fired.
Will lose their jobs. But fortunately, there'll be room for them in the private sector. They'll just have to move out of Washington.
And they'll actually have to work.
They'll have to learn how to work again.
Yeah, because they don't know how to work.
Right. Not those folks.
No.
I'm going to say this. Our Metro employees, I'm going to say they work hard. I'm going to say our state employees work hard. But federal employees in the regulatory agencies, I don't believe they do at all.
No.
And I would also, I'm not going to give high praise to our Board of Education, because I think that's where there are hundreds, if not thousands, of people who are employed who don't do anything useful, and that reduces teacher pay. The actual teachers reduces their pay, but it expands the size of the union and their dues. And as I've said over and over again, government employee unions are the true cancer in our body.
I've heard that once or twice.
In our body politic.
Once or twice a day for 30 years.
Yeah. Let me give you a couple things that are very interesting.
Yeah.
This I'm going to quote from a Wall Street Journal article titled "Nobelists for Harris are unburdened by proof." I'm going to read the first of it. It says, when the Biden-Harris administration was pushing its Build Back Better plan in 2021, 17 winners of the Nobel Memorial Prize in Economic Sciences signed a letter supporting the program, arguing that it would, quote, ease long-term inflationary pressures, unquote. and many of these same Nobel Prize laureates are the experts who are now the so-called experts who are now endorsing Kamala Harris again. So, if history is prologue, they're backing a bad plan yet again, even if they know what the plan is. But here's another interesting article. It's called "What 4 Years of Biden-Harris Cost You." This is astounding, Michael, because it hasn't. Let me tell you why it hasn't impacted me and why it probably hasn't impacted you. You live in the same house and had a mortgage 5 years ago. The same house you were in 5 years ago and you had a mortgage. Is that fair enough?
Actually, we paid it off like about 7 or 8 years ago.
Okay.
But we've lived in the same house. We
Okay,
have no mortgage on
so
our
you have
house.
no mortgage. So the interest rates have not affected you. Do you drive the same car that you had 4 years ago?
I do.
Okay. Now, and so do I. I live in a house that I've been in since 2006. We refinanced the house with a 10-year deal at 3.25% back in 2020 or 2021. Well, 2020. Okay. And because I think rates went up in 2021, started to go up. But here's what's so interesting. During the 4 years, I'm quoting from the article here, during the 4 years that Donald Trump was in office, the inflation-adjusted private sector wages rose 8.1%. That is a significant increase. Plus interest rates were low, so people could afford to buy cars at a relatively low interest rate, and they could afford to buy a home. People who are building apartments, rental units, could afford to borrow money at relatively low numbers. So rents were, compared to today, rents were relatively low. But here's what's so interesting. First of all, a new car today costs almost $48,000 versus $41,000 in January of 2021, when Harris and Biden were inaugurated. The interest rate on the average new car today, though, is 8% compared to 5% when they took office. So that is a huge increase in the monthly payment, a huge increase in the monthly payment. Not only because the price of the car went up, but because the cost of financing has gone up over 60%, which is from 3% to 5%. In fact, it's gone up 60%. But the cost of a home, this is absolutely astounding. The average cost of a home in January of 2021, the median price home, was $304,000. It's now $416,000. So the cost of a home,
that much?
yeah, it's gone up a third.
Wow.
The cost of a home has gone up a third. But mortgage rates are now almost 100% higher than they were. They're up 2.77% from where they were. Well, when Harris and Biden were inaugurated, the rate was 3.25%. So it's up 2.77% to over 6%, or right at 6% now. And so the average cost for somebody who had to buy a house and buy a car, the annual cost of owning a new car and a new home is now up 70%, which is $21,000 higher a year for the average.
That's a lot.
Average car and average home. It's up $21,000 a year from 4 years ago. So young people who didn't own a home and didn't own a car when Harris was inaugurated, they're just getting absolutely slaughtered. And then what is Harris's response to all this? Throw more government money at a problem that was caused by more government money.
What could possibly go wrong?
I mean, it is, and then you got 17 Nobel Prize laureates saying, yes, please throw more money at the problem.
Crom, let me also tell you this. The other thing here that is just odd and changing used to be certain people that were credentialed or certain people that had powerful positions in institutions. You would pay attention to what they said. But now we've got the institution of regime media, the institution of academia, and whoever is in those places now, they're just a bunch of propagandist idiots.
In favor of big government, because that's where they get their pay and that's where they get their prestige. And so they have ceased to be honest. They have ceased to be honest, and they know it. These are people who know they're being dishonest.
Well, more when we get back. I'm Michael Patrick Leahy. He's Crom Carmichael.
folks, John Fredericks here for Freedom Alliance. Veterans are still struggling with the wounds of war. They came home with injuries that changed them forever. The flag-burning troublemakers in our streets remind me how fortunate we are to have patriots who served and fought, sacrificed, and never complained. We need to support them through organizations like the Freedom Alliance. It's Military Appreciation Month and time to support those who serve. Freedom Alliance is caring for combat veterans and military families. Combat veterans fought in the worst, most dangerous places on earth. Freedom Alliance takes them to nature's most relaxing locations so they can heal. Freedom Alliance gives injured troops mortgage-free homes, new cars, and all-terrain wheelchairs. For wounded vets, there's nothing like the stability of your own home, the reinsurance of a reliable vehicle, or the independence of a wheelchair that navigates snow, ice, beach, pasture, or most any terrain. Let's fight for those who fought for us. Go to freedomalliance.org/Godzilla and make a monthly gift that will improve the life of a military hero. That's freedomalliance.org/Godzilla. Make a contribution today.
If you're like me, most moms find it difficult to prioritize self-care. Hi, it's Colleen, Program Director at the John Fredericks Media Network. With the demands of programming 13 radio stations, it's easy to forget about the things I should do for myself daily. And that's why I started with our company's Women's Challenge with Native Path Collagen Peptides. It's affordable and convenient care in just one scoop a day. There are so many incredible health benefits like bone and joint support, metabolism booster, and hair, skin, and nail improvement. I like to take a moment each day to prioritize myself and indulge in the health-boosting benefits of Native Path Collagen Peptides. I love mixing it up with all the different smoothie recipes, too. Learn more about Native Path Collagen Peptides and read 7 important reasons why you should be taking collagen peptides at getnativepath.com/Godzilla. Prioritize your self-care with Native Path Collagen Peptides. Try it risk-free for as low as $21 today and get free shipping at getnativepath.com/Godzilla.
Target.com. Target.com is an online e-commerce tire retailer. We are here to serve the American public with the best possible customer service, the best pricing, and we make it extremely easy. We have many name brands and a lot of low-cost tires. The price is right, and it's easy. You go online to Target.com, Tireget.com, Target.com. You go there, you put your zip code in, all the inventory displays right in front of you. You can call in for help if you want to. We'll help you get the tire that you need. But we will take the tires you buy and at no extra charge deliver them to the dealer right by your house where they will be installed at the market price. It's easy. The best price, the best service. Great people to deal with. Thank you for going to Target.
Welcome back to the Michael Patrick Leahy Show. Now, here's Michael Patrick Leahy.
And welcome back to the Michael Patrick Leahy Show. Crom, of course, the story that was made big last night. Joe Biden calling Trump supporters garbage. They tried to clean that up. Didn't go so well. He did that at a
They tried to clean up the garbage,
yeah,
quote.
Yeah. That was very good, Crom.
Well, no, you were very good, Michael, because you were so subtle.
I was subtle. I was so subtle I didn't realize I was supposedly making a cornball joke. That was a Zoom call he had with a group called Voto Latino.
Yeah.
And somebody on his staff decided to schedule that Zoom call at exactly the same time as Kamala Harris was delivering her closing speech.
I didn't know that part.
So, I mean, just what could possibly go wrong?
Yeah.
Right?
Now that might have been intentional.
Yeah.
But Biden, let me say this: when people get older, and they start having mental issues with their brain,
mm-hmm.
which Biden has. Because you can tell, because he can't speak the same way that he used to speak. But he's always been a very mean person.
Mean, nasty, dishonest.
Yeah, he's always been. Even when he
crooked.
was younger, he was a very mean person.
He was never a good person.
No,
he
never
always
was.
a bad person.
But when you spend your life being a very mean person and you get older and you start having these mental issues, there's a frontal lobe thing that doctors who are neurologists can give the name to it. But what they do is they blurt out angry things that they haven't thought about. They just blurt them out. And so but it doesn't mean they don't believe them.
Yeah.
It means that they can't control themselves.
Yeah, good point.
And in this case, Biden, when he said that Trump supporters are garbage, he means that.
He's verbally incontinent.
He is, yes, yeah. And so when he said that, that's what he meant. And when he said that we should lock Trump up, well, obviously he believes that because he's been trying for
4 years.
Yeah, to lock him up. So please,
Crom, we have a little bit of breaking news. I want to break in on this, and we'll get to your story in a second. So our friend A.J. McCall, who we've known for years, and was really one of the first, he and Lee Beeman were the first advertisers on the Tennessee Star when we started 7.5 years ago.
Okay.
And they've been an advertiser with us at the Tennessee Star and Star News Network ever since. We are the only radio program in the country playing his Trump impersonator ad because the guys at Cumulus here in town won't play it.
Well, it is funny. Wonderful.
Okay, so now there's the rest of the story is, and I've been talking with AJ about this. They hired News Channel 5 here in town, which is owned by Scripps, a big leftist globalist company, and they hired him to do a video commercial, and they just found out that News Channel 5 won't play it either.
Okay.
But guess what? We have that commercial. Would you like to?
Sure,
would you like to watch it and listen to it?
Sure, absolutely.
Here we go. The banned, the censored DT McCall's commercial that you cannot see anywhere else except on the Michael Patrick Leahy Show or the Tennessee Star and the Star News Network. Here we go.
My fellow Americans, I was this close to wasting $200 on hidden charges at the lumber yards. These are sick people. Until I saw this beautiful ad from my friends at DT McCall's. They're great. They're not going to charge you for any of your hoses or cords or haulaways. The lumber yards are going to rip you off. How the hell are you supposed to use a dryer without a cord? Never seen anything like it. Go visit my friends at DT McCall's and stop the hidden charges on day one, believe me.
Okay, so that, Crom.
Now, obviously, that's not Donald Trump.
It doesn't look like Donald Trump.
Obviously, it's not. And
Yeah.
so, obviously, it's an impersonator having a little fun.
Yeah.
Okay. And this is why, I would be very interested to know why Channel 5 says it won't run it. Because whatever reason they give to everything else they do, including their news. So, so in other words, if their news is biased, then they shouldn't be running their news. I don't know what they would say or what they would do with that dead air time, especially with Phil Williams' time on the air. But if they won't run that because they somehow, I don't even know, I can't think of a reason. I could see why a radio spot, now at the end of the radio spot now, it says.
It has a disclaimer on it.
It has a disclaimer at the end of it. You don't need a disclaimer on this because that's clearly not Donald Trump, and it's a TV ad. On the radio, they now have put the disclaimer. But it is interesting. But Michael, I've got a couple of other interesting stories just to kind of give you a sense of what happens, what the Harris agenda, what it means. Because she was a big backer of anything that was in the Green New Deal. She wanted to even spend more on the Green New Deal. She wants to do away with the internal combustion engine. She says that by 2035, that's 10 years from now. But here's what's an interesting story. Headline: Volkswagen hits the net zero wall. This is from the Wall Street Journal. Got a quote from the article. An October surprise for the U.S. election may have arrived this week in Germany. Word that Volkswagen could close 3 vehicle factories, cut 10,000 jobs, and impose steep across-the-board pay reductions is a warning for Americans about the peril of the Biden-Harris climate policy. Now, if governments use their power to impose uneconomic regulations on private industry, cause them to lose money, there is a point where those companies will run out of money. And then they have to do things like close plants, lay off employees, and cut salaries. Do Congress care about that? No.
Not one bit.
Not one bit.
No, one bit.
In fact, Biden and Harris announced that they were taking $3 billion of money that was supposed to be used for something else, which would have been a waste. And now they're claiming that they're going to waste it on, guess what? Battleground states. Fortunately, they won't have time to do that. So they're just trying to literally buy votes. But here's another great story about the left, and this is the problem with the left. Gavin Newsom, headline, Gavin Newsom loves Hollywood. The California governor raises taxes on business and then gives his movie-making pals a great big credit. And so what Gavin Newsom has done is he has raised taxes time as governor, but he keeps giving Hollywood bigger and bigger tax credits, which also are refundable tax credits. So when you make a movie in California, California will pay you money to do that. And but they can only do that by taxing businesses and individuals who aren't in the industry. So is it any wonder that the Hollywood elite come out in favor of Democrats? Sure, they're getting tons of money from Democrats and becoming super wealthy themselves.
Sure, at
the expense of other businesses and local citizens. And so this whole thing. Now, I don't know if there's anything that the federal government can do about this, because if voters in California keep voting for politicians who raise taxes on themselves,
But
I
what
guess
happened there?
That's what our constitutional republic is all about.
You know why? You know why it's gone?
Please.
Because they have all the illegals they let into the state.
Okay.
And in various degrees.
Okay.
That's why.
At the state and local level.
I was living in California in 1988.
Okay.
When George H.W. Bush won, barely. And, that's one of the reasons we left California in 1991 to come to Tennessee.
Well,
because I could see
so the level.
handwriting on the wall.
What you're telling me is it isn't the citizens of California who are behind all this, but state and local government employees are such a powerful group in
Absolutely.
California, because there's so many of them. And there are so many of them because they tax the citizens. But if citizens are going to, citizens have a right to move, businesses have a right to move, and a lot of them are doing that. But the rest of them are there being stuck with paying the higher taxes because the weather's nice. Could you imagine?
The weather is nice.
The weather's nice, and that's what the tax is. But this Volkswagen story is fascinating because.
But by the way, have you seen also now? Germany, which has been a manufacturing center. I mean, if you're going to manufacture something and you want it engineered to precision, Germany was the place.
Yes.
But guess what? As their energy costs are going up, they're shutting down their factories.
Right. They have to. They're doing that because the renewable energy that they have invested tens of billions and tens of billions, hundreds of billions of dollars in is not reliable. And factories cannot operate unless there is a reliable source of energy, because the equipment in the factories,
you got to have it.
If the equipment gets shut down because of a lack of energy, and it happens instantly, and it wasn't planned, it harms the equipment. And
that's a very good point.
And it also, you have labor that is there to work and is being paid by the hour. And if the equipment's not working, then they are there, but they're not producing anything.
Good point.
And so, well, these are things that the government employees, Kamala Harris could not care a rip about the manufacturing process. And
by the way, did you see her going into a Silicon Valley plant and not understanding that there were very sharp products there?
Yeah, that doesn't surprise me at all. Does not surprise me at all, and so she walks around and she just, she is a it is fascinating how the media tries to portray her as someone who cares about others, and that Trump doesn't, when it's actually the exact reverse. Exact reverse. Yeah.
All right, we'll have more when we're back, and we're going to try and reach Stephen K. Bannon in our next segment.
Cool.
It's probably less than 50-50. Yeah.
Americans, my good friends, I've known them for a long time, at D.T. McCall & Sons have the deal of a lifetime for you, and nobody knows deals like I do. That much I can tell you. Nobody knows deals like I do. The lumber yards, they can hit you with hidden charges for up to $200 extra. They'll charge you for cords and hoses and haul-offs. Your money goes all over the place and out of the state, and most importantly, out of your pockets. How do they get away with that? I don't know how they do that, but on day one, if you buy from McCall's, we are going to stop the hidden charges as soon as you buy it. D.T. McCall & Sons has locations in Lebanon, Carthage, Lafayette, Cookeville, and Franklin, and they have been family-owned in Middle Tennessee for over 100 years. Head to one of their stores today or check them out at dtmccalls.com. You're going to love it. Believe me. Impersonator
Michael
not endorsed.
Patrick Leahy.
When you look at Kamala Harris, you have to think of her in the context of an upgrade from Joe Biden. As a campaigner, Kamala Harris represents a greater threat to Donald Trump than does Joe Biden.
The Michael Patrick Leahy Show on the John Fredericks Media Network. Weekday mornings, 10 Eastern, 9 Central. You better listen.
I don't think anyone should take this threat lightly. Mutts Cuts Grooming. This summer, never leave pets in vehicles while running errands. Even with windows cracked, 80 degrees can shoot up to 120 degrees, causing heat stroke, dehydration, and even death. So keep pets hydrated, shaded in cool areas, or just leave them at home. That's from Kathy, Candy, and the staff at Mutts Cuts Grooming, the people with warm hearts for those with cold noses. For your pet's grooming needs, call 931-645-9220. That's 931-645-9220 for Mutts Cuts Grooming in Clarksville, Tennessee at 1479 Tiny Town Road.
Hey there, this is Lenny McGill, founder and CEO of The Glock Store. As a proud sponsor of this show, you may have heard Michael Patrick Leahy mention us a few times over the past 4 years. But today, it's me on the radio telling you how pleased we are to be associated with Michael Patrick Leahy and his dedication to the highest levels of professional journalism. Michael Patrick Leahy has been threatened with jail time in bringing the true facts about that Nashville Covenant shooting to his listening audience. Michael Patrick Leahy, you keep doing what you're doing, and we here at the Glock Store will keep sponsoring your show for the good of Nashville and the entire country. And I'm personally inviting all of your listeners to come visit and shoot at the Glock Store. It's where Michael Patrick Leahy learned to shoot a gun for the first time and where he bought his own personal Glock 19. I'm Lenny McGill, founder and CEO of the Glock Store here in Nashville, just minutes from the airports, worth the drive from anywhere, and a proud sponsor of Michael Patrick Leahy and the Tennessee Star Report.
Welcome back to the Michael Patrick Leahy Show. Now, here's Michael Patrick Leahy.
And welcome back. Well, no luck.
Oh, bummer.
Connecting with our friend Stephen K. Bannon.
Bummer.
Because I have so many questions for
Yes,
him.
oh yeah.
But we will try again tomorrow.
Yeah.
Same time.
All right. Well, I won't be here tomorrow, so if you get it tomorrow, I'll be very jealous.
Well, then we'll try Friday also.
Thank you.
You'll be here Friday.
Yes.
Well, we'll try them both times.
Okay. All right.
But do not fear, listeners of the Michael Patrick Leahy Show, because Crom always comes loaded with great stories for us.
Michael, I have 3 here that are fascinating. This one is from the Wall Street Journal. Help! We're trapped in a Trader Joe's union. And this is a story by 2 guys. A guy and a gal, Michael Alcorn and Leslie Stratford. They work for a Trader Joe's store that unionized, and the vote was cast, and they were unionized, and so then they attended. I'm going to quote from the story here. 45 of our fellow crew members voted to join Trader Joe's United. 45, while 31 voted against it. Amid growing discontent in the store, the 2 of us attended a bargaining session in February of 2023, which the union president invited all crew members to join. We were shocked at what we saw. We thought the union would focus on things like wages and benefits. Instead, the union representatives were negotiating over things like pronoun pins, which the company already provides.
But doesn't every person who works in retail, don't they want a pronoun pin?
Of course.
I mean, where's mine?
Well, actually,
we're not working in retail. But
actually, apparently not, because They then demanded that Trader Joe's cover abortion and gender-affirming care. The company's response? The health care plan already covers that. Now, whether you agree or disagree that it ought to cover that, it already does. So at any rate,
they didn't go and look at the plan.
So these people, these two union employees who are paying big-time union dues and were expecting something good to come out of it, they then worked to get a number of people to sign a petition to have another vote. and under the law, they needed the support of only 30% of the bargaining unit to force another election. Yet they got 46%.
Okay. So far so good.
Yeah, but the National Labor Relations Board will not let them hold another election.
Why is that?
Because they just don't want to, and they have the power to do it, and so they're not going to let them hold it, and the union doesn't want it.
So this is another abuse of power by the administrative state.
Yeah, that is. So that's that story. This one is almost hysterical. The billionaire town in California that's going broke. Public unions and housing mandates sock a San Francisco Bay Area town full of the rich and famous. This is a story, I'm going to quote from the article here. It's a town called Portola Valley, Portola.
I can tell you what the town is.
Okay.
It's Portola
Excuse
Valley.
me. Well, thank you.
And let me tell you about Portola Valley.
Yes.
When I went to business school, and, just in my 20s and didn't have a lot of money and would occasionally... I finally had enough money to buy a beat-up old car and was driving around the area surrounding Palo Alto. Portola Valley is probably the most physically beautiful area of the country, with like mansions.
Even more than Carmel?
Well, it doesn't have the sea, but just take the sea away from it.
Okay, but the
take that idea.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
All right. So here it goes. So the town of about 4,500 has about 1.6 million in general reserves, nearly all of which is committed to paying government retiree benefits. But here's the great part. Other employment costs are also soaring as the town is paying millions. The town, this is a tiny town, is paying millions for consultants to comply with California's affordable housing mandate. Now, if you're a town that has the average home in Portola sells for $3.8 million. That's the average. So and it's a very small geographically. It's a very small town, and the land in the town is built out. In other words, the homes are built out. They cover it, but yet, because of California law, they have to provide affordable housing, and they figure out how to do it. So they're paying millions of dollars to try to figure out how to not comply with the California mandate. I just think it's delicious. The irony is delicious.
Yeah, but also, like, all the people that live, not all of them, but most of them.
Yep.
They're the sort of the guilty, rich Silicon Valley types who thought starting off this path would be good.
Right, and it's not going to happen to me. Well,
guess what?
There it is. Yeah, that's right.
Hitting you in the face.
That's right. This one is funny. This is Arizona congressional candidate Amy Shaw is hosting a spooktacular Halloween party.
Did you say spooktacular?
Spooktacular. I'm quoting. That's not me. I'm quoting from the Free Beacon. Is hosting a spooktacular.
By the way, in terms of the lexicon,
yeah,
I think if you're talking about Halloween,
yes,
and you're a legitimate journalistic outfit,
okay,
you can use the word spooktacular.
Well, I'm only quoting.
I understand.
I could have used it myself, but I'm actually quoting another journalist.
I think spooktacular
and I'm not
is
a
okay in the context
I'm a
of
commentator.
Halloween.
But anyway, so he's hosting a spooktacular Halloween party at his country club home located, wait for it, outside he's running to represent. It turns out that Dr. Amish Shaw is sharing a condominium with his girlfriend in the district that he's running for, but the home that he actually owns is not in the district. Well, it turns out that's not legal. You have in this case, you're supposed to be living in the district. And so he's now invited his biggest supporters to this spooktacular Halloween party, but also I'm going to quote from the article. Shaw has campaigned from the home as recently as September 24th, when he joined a Zoom call with supporters from its sizable kitchen littered with groceries, meaning that he does live there. The Free Beacon reports. One week later, Shaw sent a fundraising email from his cat, Miss Meowson. That included a photo of the pair in the same kitchen. And so his pet, also lives in the house that he can't be living in as his official residence if he's running in another district.
Now, so you're saying there's a state law.
Yes.
That requires that you live in the district.
Apparently, let me get to.
Well,
I can flip it over.
It's Arizona.
Let me just say. I'm going to quote from the article. It is illegal to register to vote in a precinct where you don't actually live and intend to live indefinitely. Former U.S. Attorney for the District of Arizona, Michael Bailey, told the Free Beacon last week. So he's got a problem. But
hold on. Is he registered? Is he registered to vote in a different location? Is that the problem?
I don't know.
See, but here, let's back to this. So let's talk about residency.
Yeah.
If you're running for Congress, the federal requirement is you only have to be a resident of the state.
Okay.
In other words, Crom, if you, which I know you have aspirations for this, if you wanted to run for Congress from Memphis, for instance, there's no law prohibiting you.
You mean I could run against Steve Owen?
You could. And part of that is historical because, in the first elections, and some states would elect like a slate of members of the House statewide.
Okay. Well,
but the point is, there are also some states that basically say, you have to live in that district, even if you're running for
I don't know the ins and outs of the law. What I do know is this. According to this article, he is representing that he lives in the district, but he still owns a big, beautiful home in a country, in a gated community.
Yeah, that's the case. And I was looking for the violation of the law.
Well, I was trying to give you...
And I think that is the violation. If he's registered elsewhere, but lives... And by the way, that is an unnecessary error on his part, right? Because, in other words, the reason, because I think even in Arizona, that he could run for Congress from that district and not reside in that district. You do that, however, for the political reasons.
Yeah.
You register to live in that area.
That's right. You want to be living in the district that you claim that you want to represent. And apparently he has been representing that the condominium that he shares with his girlfriend is where he lives. And what the Free Beacon is pointing out is that in his home in the gated community, multi-million-dollar home in the gated community, is where he actually lives and where his pet lives. And the reason that's important, by the way, is there was a big court case between somebody who moved from New York to Texas, and New York was still trying to tax this guy, and he claimed his residence was in Texas. And the judge finally decided that he did live in Texas when a statement was made in court about his dog was in the home in Texas. And the judge stopped the case and said, wait, are you saying that your dog lives in your home in Texas? And he said, yes. And he said, well, if your dog lives there, then that's the home that you've chosen. And that's what settled the case. Well, Miss Meow, the cat, Miss Meow, Miss Meow, let's see.
Miss Meow.
Miss Meowson.
By the way, Miss Meowson. Okay, so obviously that should, if you name your cat, if you're running for Congress and you name your cat Miss Meowson, you should be disqualified.
You should be.
You shouldn't be on the ballot.
He was trying to come up with a perfect name.
Well done.
Thank you.
Oh my goodness, Crom.
Oh my goodness.
That is
terrible.
That's pure cornball.
That was terrible.
Now, did this judge set a legal standing for residency? Is if your dog lives there, you live there too?
He did for tax purposes. I mean, in this case, this was New York State trying to collect taxes from somebody who claimed they had left the state and moved to Texas, and apparently he still had an apartment in New York, and he conducted some business there, and he was in New York some.
Yeah.
But the question was, and he said, I have a driver's license in Texas, I vote in Texas, I've done this, I've done that, And what the judge finally hung his hat on was that when it came up in the course of testimony that his dog was in Texas, the judge says, "Well, if your dog's in Texas, you live in Texas." I just think that's great. But Miss Meowson lives in the country club home.
I guess what the judge ruled in the Texas case is, Crom, wait for it.
Oh.
That dog will hunt.
Oh.
All right. Everybody across our listening audience is going to say, when are those cornballs going to stop with those bad jokes? I think we probably lost anybody under the age of 50.
Here's another quick story, and this is a sad story.
Yeah.
But it shows you the times we live in. A headline: the education terminator, that be the government teachers unions, tries to kill a school choice program in Nebraska. The legislature in Nebraska passed a $10 million program that would provide a small amount of scholarships to help students who attend private schools with their education expenses. Mm-hmm. More than 5,000 students applied for the program in roughly 1 month, and the money was spent. Now the teachers union, and by the way, they spend $4.7 billion. $4.7 billion. The teachers union is putting a referendum on to try to stop $10 million to help parents send their kids to non-government controlled schools.
When we come back, Potpourri.
All righty, we'll
back after this.
Carmichael, CEO of Soul Tea, a supplement to help you have a healthier heart and stronger cardiovascular system. At Soul Tea, we regularly get emails from our customers telling us how Soul Tea has helped them. Like this one from Kelly. Hello, I'm 58 years old and have had high cholesterol for years. I wanted to stay away from prescription drugs. My husband and I have been using Soul Tea for about 13 months. My results have been amazing. My cholesterol levels went from 291 to 129. I am so impressed with Soul Tea and want to thank you. Now, in my own case, my bad cholesterol dropped from 130 to 89, and that was 20 years ago. I'm 75 years old and I take 0 prescription drugs. To get a great deal on Soul Tea, please go to GodzillaHeart.com, and when you check out, use the code Godzilla to get our best deal, which is 50% off your first shipment and then 3 bottles for the price of 2 thereafter. You don't have to live with a broken heart.
Do you suffer from declining bone and joint health? Hi, it's Tina with the John Fredericks Media Network. And when I heard about our company's Women's Challenge, I jumped on the opportunity to test this amazing supplement that's already restoring my bone density, soothing my joint pain, and helping me regain lost mobility. I've experienced so many benefits in such a short time with Native Path Collagen Peptides because they support my bones and joints, boost my metabolism, and unleash the most radiant skin and hair since my 20s. In just 2 weeks, my knee stiffness is gone, and I'm already hitting the gym more aggressively. And I get so many compliments on my glowy skin and shiny hair. Native Path Collagen Peptides are so easy to take. They're tasteless, odorless, and mix great with my morning coffee. Read thousands of 5-star reviews at getnativepath.com/Godzilla. Level up your self-care with Native Path Collagen Peptides. Try it risk-free for as low as $21 today. And get free shipping at getnativepath.com/Godzilla.
In 2008, the amount of concentrated time people could spend on a task without becoming distracted was 12 seconds. 5 years later, it was only 8 seconds, 1 second less than a goldfish. If you're often distracted or have trouble recalling information, you're likely to fall behind in the demanding, fast-paced 21st century. In other words, brain performance is more critical now than ever. Boost your brain power with Healthy Cell's Focus Plus Recall. Science-backed nootropics to help you sharpen focus, concentrate longer, enhance recall, improve mental speed, learn rapidly, and be more alert. It's a pill-free brain supplement made with maximum absorption ingestible gel technology, designed to feed your brain at the cellular level. Take it for a test drive. Go to healthycell.com and use code GODZILLA for 20% off your first order of Focus Plus Recall. That's healthycell.com, code GODZILLA for 20% off.
Welcome back to the Michael Patrick Leahy Show. Now, here's Michael Patrick Leahy.
And welcome back. Well, folks, it's that time of day again. It's time for News Potpourri.
Yes, Michael. It's that time of the program for little tidbits that merit the attention of our audience, but not an entire segment and have a touch of
irony. I'm going to lead off with this news.
Please.
Ready?
Yes.
So there is one group that's totally behind Kamala Harris.
What is that?
It's the group known as Husbands Who've Knocked Up the Nanny. That group.
Yes.
Because Doug, of course, is, knocked up the nanny. He lost his first wife.
Yes.
And another guy famously knocked up the nanny. His wife found out about it, divorced him. Arnold Schwarzenegger. Arnold Schwarzenegger, showing that he, is a complete idiot, has endorsed Kamala Harris. And he said, this just broke a little bit ago, like a half an hour ago. I don't know if I can't do the. You can't do. I don't really do endorsements.
You can't do the Arnold. I might be able to do the Arnold voice.
Anyways, I'm not shy about sharing my views, but I hate politics and don't trust most politicians, said the former governor of California. What an idiot. We haven't heard from the nanny that he knocked up, nor apparently he's estranged from the son that resulted from that extramarital affair.
All right.
He said Trump will divide, he will insult, he will find new ways to be more un-American. Former years of BS, and he didn't say BS, he spelled it all out. With no results. Oh, come on. Makes us angrier and angry, more divided, more hateful. Well, you're an idiot.
Well,
Arnold, you're well past your prime.
Well, but if you live in California, if you live in Hollywood, and you want to go to the cocktail parties, this is the position that you have to take. And so that's an interesting story, not surprising. This one is kind of interesting. The UN had a report, and I'm going to just quote from the article here. You won't be surprised to learn that a new UN report on violence against women and girls in sports says that, quote, sports institutions are built on colonial and extractive structures, unquote. Now, what's interesting is it goes on to say that the only people who should participate in female sports are women who are female, whose biological sex is female. So the UN is saying that countries should take the report attracted criticism from those concerned almost exclusively with the report's, quote, recommendation to protect the female category of sports. Miss Al-Samlim's report is unequivocal. Female athletes are, quote, more vulnerable to sustaining serious physical injuries when female-only sports bases are opened to males. And so the left is now beside themselves. Now, here's what's interesting about this. Kamala Harris is on record supporting men competing against women in sports. Now, apparently, Harris thinks the only issue that women care about is abortion and not their own personal safety or their ability to compete on a fair playing field in sports. So it's just kind of an interesting story. This one is one. Sherrod Brown has a staffer, Democrat from Ohio, who may very well lose.
Could lose to Bernie Moreno.
We hope loses, but he has a staffer who is quoted in the Free Beacon as saying, "Open the effing border." And then this staffer goes on to say that anybody who doesn't want an open border is a racist. And Sherrod Brown has this guy on his staff. So this isn't some comedian that showed up at one event and said some things. This is a guy that believes that, and Sherrod Brown apparently knows it. John Tester. This is kind of funny, but not surprising. John Tester says he's concerned about rich folks buying up Montana's land. But the very rich folks who are coming in and buying ranches in Montana are the ones who are giving money to Tester. So he couldn't be all that concerned.
Kind of crazy. Huh?
Yes. Another one here is Sue Altman spends money distancing herself from her progressive past. Now, this is the Democrat New Jersey. Sue Altman claimed in September that she had broken with the Working Families Party on a range of issues. Problem is the group is now spending $735,000 to help her reelection bid.
Yeah.
And so once again, this just like Sherrod Brown lies about what he believes, John Tester lies about Kamala Harris. This is what the Democrat pattern is. They want to gaslight the voter.
Gaslight and lie. I got one for you.
And because they have a 5 to 6 to 1 spending advantage, they have a chance of winning by lying.
So here's one. I got one for you. So Arnold Schwarzenegger just endorsed Kamala Harris.
Yeah.
Buzz Aldrin, one of the first guys on the moon who landed there with in '69 with Neil Armstrong. Neil Armstrong. He was the second guy on the moon.
Yeah.
Buzz Aldrin was. He's like 94.
Yeah.
Has endorsed Donald J. Trump.
Yeah, that doesn't surprise me. You've seen the video of a few years ago when some guy got in his face. And this was and Aldrin at that time was like 88 years old or 87 years old.
And he took the guy out.
And he punched him right in the face. I don't know if he broke his nose or not. But the guy was going to try to press charges. And the people that he went to said, I don't think it would look good in court, your size and age, trying to, with that video of you screaming at this Buzz Aldrin in his face.
Yeah.
I think you'd have a tough time winning.
I wish he had, because he would have not won.
He would not have won.
Yeah.
This is my last one here. Angela Also Brooks.
Democrat candidate.
She ought to change her name to Also Lies and from Also Brooks. But Angela Also Brooks, a.k.a. Also Lies. Apparently, here's a story from the Free Beacon. I'm going to quote here. Throughout all those years, the Senate candidate improperly claimed tax exemptions on the property meant only for seniors and primary residents of the district. Costly errors that landed Also Brooks a $47,500 bill for back taxes and interest earlier in October. So what she's been doing, the Washington, D.C. property records obtained by the Free Beacon show there's more to the story. Those records indicate Also Brooks took greater lengths to avoid paying her fair share of taxes beyond claiming tax exemptions for which she was ineligible. Apparently, this particular house was owned by her grandmother, and what the grandmother did was the mother inherited the house and quitclaim deeded to her daughter. And if it goes from the grandmother to the granddaughter, there's a bunch of taxes. If it goes from the grandmother to the mother to the granddaughter, they save taxes. So
on that note, Crom, thanks for joining us today.
You betcha.
We'll try to get Stephen K. Bannon next Friday when you're here with us.
This Friday.
This Friday. And that's it for the show today. We'll be back tomorrow morning, same time, same place. Thanks for joining us. I'm Michael Patrick Leahy. This is Michael Patrick Leahy. I want to say a word about my good friend Dustin Damon. Dustin is the best handyman in Middle Tennessee. Call Dustin today at 724-683-4400. That's 724-683-4400 if you have a job around the house that you just haven't gotten around to. If you're busy like me, you just may not have the time to fix that broken mailbox, repair the back porch, or get that old light fixture back to working properly. Do what I did. Call Dustin Damon today at 724-683-4400, and he will bring his truck and tools to your house and get that job done lickety-split. Dustin's main service area is Williamson County and the southern part